Okay, welcome everybody to our second improvised lecture. Now we have a slight change. I'm trying to get you to see the slides, at least some of them that are important for us. This one today I'm going to keep short. What I wanted to illustrate here is how we can use some data that we can find online to actually estimate weighted average cost of capital or opportunity cost of capital for a firm. Now in this case, these numbers are probably not representative of what's going on with Canadian Tire right now, but you can look up the numbers for Canadian Tire that are currently available and plug them into what we're going to do today and still get some results, and we can actually compare those results. But just to illustrate how we can actually use those numbers, let's go through this example. And later on, we're going to use what we get in this one for something later on in lecture 18. So in this case, it says that Canadian Tire Corporation expects earnings per share of $6 per share in the coming year. Now, we also assume that they're not going to reinvest any of their earnings. They're going to give it all to shareholders. Now, these earnings per share, what is that? That's profit. That is the money that's left over after they pay all of their expenses, including wages and including CEOs, including everything. So this is earnings or profit that is available for the shareholders. So what Canadian Tire can do with this, they can do, well, different combinations of things, but they could either give it to the shareholders, they could reinvest it, or give part to the shareholders and reinvest part. In this case, they decided to give everything to the shareholders, 100%. So that's the assumption we have to make. Another thing that we know about Canadian Tire is what we can look up online is their share price. It says their share price is $60 per share. So these two numbers that we have, we can put them into our constant dividend growth model that we talked about last time and see what we can do with it. So, well, the constant dividend growth model says that the share price will be equal to dividend divided by RE, which is opportunity cost of capital, minus growth rate. Now, there's the dividend, $6 per share. We're assuming growth rate of 0, similar to our Coca-Cola example from last time. Growth rate of 0. This we don't know. That's actually what we want to figure out. Price, share price we do know, $60 per share. So share price $60 per share, dividend $6, growth rate 0, RE we don't know. So we can actually figure out RE from here because 60 equals $6 divided by RE only, because growth is assumed to be 0. So from this, it must be that RE equals 0.1 or 10%. So the calculations are not that complicated, but how do we interpret this? What does this RE mean? Well, that's, we would say, opportunity cost of capital or average return on previous investments that Canadian Tire had. And so based on this number, what can we say? We can say that investors are willing to pay $60 per share for Canadian Tire stock, knowing that the dividend is going to be $6 per share and also expecting 0 growth. So based on that, it implies that the investors are estimating Canadian Tire's opportunity cost of capital to be 10%. So this is an example how we can use some numbers that we can observe, some facts, to actually figure something out that's really hard to know. There is no factual opportunity cost of capital for Canadian Tire that can be easily figured out. There are estimates, and this is one of those estimates. So let's see how that looks.